Before we get into the video, we've got a new channel member again. I know they're flying in right now. Bill Gillis, thank you so much for being a channel member here on YouTube. Really appreciate the support. And while we're at it, I want to say thank you to my other channel members as well. Blake Dowell, Racing Vagabond, Easy Does It, and still haven't figured out how to say his name quite yet, but I'm going to go with Skyke. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to hit like, hit subscribe, and comment down below on all these videos. We're trying to reach out to as many people as we can here on the channel. Really appreciate everybody's support. If you would like to join as a channel member, hit the join button right below, and we would appreciate it very much. Now let's jump into today's entry list video update from the Knoxville Nationals. All right, guys, quick update video today for the entry list for the 2024 Knoxville Nationals. The race is about, 2 or 3 weeks away now. And things are getting closer and closer. And by the end of this week, we should know who's going to go on which prelim nights. I think they said on July 30th, they are going to reveal that. Today is July 24th. So about six days from today, we will know which drivers are running on which prelim nights during the Knoxville Nationals. So new entry list came out today. It came out, there was one that came out yesterday, I believe, but obviously we were racing over there at Lernerville last night, so I wasn't able to make an entry list update. And then today I was making one. I had to record it and everything, and then they put out a new one, so I figured I'd just put them both together. So 8 entries have been added since the last time we did one of these videos. The newest one coming out today on July 24th. There are now 99 entries into the 2024 Knoxville Nationals. And let's talk about some of the new guys that have signed on here today. Here is the key down here in red writing. That means they have been to the Knoxville Nationals before, but they have never been able to make the A main event. Green means that they are a Rookie of the Year contender. Black is drivers that have made the Nationals feature before. And blue, this was requested by one of our channel members, Blake Dowell. The blue writing is a driver that is a former champion of the Knoxville Nationals. So the first time we've added that here onto this list. So the first one we'll talk about is Ryan Giles, who has been more known for his 360 prowess at Knoxville Raceway, has gotten some wins in weekly action, has had some good runs as well at the 360 Nationals. He will be teaming up with, it looks like, they don't have this on the website or anything, who is the car owner, but I'm guessing it is Matt Morrow is the car owner for Ryan Giles. And if Giles and that team can put that car together and have a good setup, have a good 360 Nationals as well, he is actually a really fast driver and kind of underrated over there at the half mile in Knoxville, Iowa. Jake Newman is on the list as well, one of the full-time IRA drivers. And Newman never been able to make the show at the Nationals. Really hasn't been close before, but he's been getting better and better here over the last couple of years. Obviously running full-time IRA. He's in the car a lot. And there's the only problem for him is there's no tracks in that the IRA runs that are anything like what you see at Knoxville Raceway. So it's kind of an anomaly for him. We'll see how he does in his family-owned 3N. We know that they have the best equipment you can get, but going to be a little bit of a struggle, I think, for them to come close to making the feature on Saturday. Landon Crawley has been added to the list of Rookie of the Year contenders. That car, the Jason Side 7S, has been extremely good there in the past. I want to say it was not too long ago that Tim Kading was either on the front row of the Nationals or close to the front of the Saturday night feature event. Obviously, Landon Crawley and Tim Kading, that was kind of weird how that worked out. But Landon Crawley and Tim Kading, not exactly the same skill level quite yet. Crawley in his first ever year of a full-time 410 driver. But we know that car is good. So we'll see if Crawley can make it happen. He did just make the Kings Royal feature on Saturday at the Eldora Speedway. So he has now made a big show. Obviously, the Knoxville Nationals format is much different. Much tougher, I think, than the Kings Royal format. And you can't really luck your way into the Knoxville Nationals feature. We'll see what Landon Crawley can do in the 7S. Cy Lynch has been added to the list in car number 42. He's had a really good year, been fast with the Outlaws, been fast with High Limit, and we'll see. I think that he could potentially make it. His car, he's always been very good at qualifying, and qualifying is huge at the Nationals when it comes to the points. I think it's 200 points for quick time at the Nationals. And then if you could pass a couple of cars in the heat race, you could be in a really good spot. So Cy Lynch, I think he's a dark horse to make the show on Saturday just because of his qualifying prowess. He's been so good in time trials. Next on the list is Ricky Peterson Jr. Peterson has been tabbed to drive the number 12X car for Beaver Racing. We've seen that car a few times this year racing with either Roger Crockett. It started the year out with Carson McCarl. And then Garrett Williamson drove it last year as well. But Ricky Peterson Jr., the driver from Rawson, Ohio, will now be driving that car at the Nationals. He's been getting a couple of rides here recently. Drove the 98 car for Chappelli Motorsports a few weeks ago, I believe, at Port Royal Speedway. So Ricky Peterson getting a couple of opportunities in other cars, and we'll see how it goes for him at the Nationals. Brett Marks has been added to the list. He is one of the high-limit drivers that has not been signed on yet until today. He has 4 A-main event appearances in his career at the Nationals. Obviously, will be driving the number 19 car, and I think that they're definitely one of those guys you could look at and say, okay, Marks is going to make the show. But then when you say that, remember back to last year, he did not make the show, couldn't get out of the B-main. So we'll see. They've been struggling here a little bit over in the recent times with high limit. We'll see if Marks can get it done. I think he's going to be fine. That team has always had a really good big track package. So Brent Marks has been added. Also added is the 19S of Hunter Schuerenberg, and I'm guessing that is the 19 with the Hybrid Motorsports 19 car for Hunter Schuerenberg. He has 2 career starts at the Nationals, including last year when he made it in with Swindell Speed Lab. And so Schuerenberg, I believe he's a car that it's a fringe. I think he's a fringe A-main starter. I think he's going to be really, really close in the B, or he'll make it in through like Hard Knocks night, or he'll miss it by 1 or 2 spots, in the B-main on Saturday. So Hunter Schuerenberg, 19S car, he's had a solid year as well, a couple of wins to his credit, and he's had a couple of good runs with not only high limit, but with the Outlaws as well. Jordan Goldsberry in the same boat as Jake Newman, full-time IRA competitor. I think he's either first or second in IRA points right now, battling with Scotty Thiel. But remember, I mentioned it a moment ago, at the IRA, they run on really small racetracks, and so Goldsberry has been there quite a few times to Nationals, but it's just a different beast, a different animal. You got to have the best motors, you got to have the best stuff to get around that place and be in the show on Saturday. So Goldsberry, we'll see what he can do in car number 65, the Rockstar Energy car, one of my favorite looking rides whenever it shows up to the pit area. And the final driver we got today is Craig Kinzer. He has 8 career A-main event starts, including the 2005 win during the Knoxville Nationals. He will be there in that number 70 car for Pete Grove. We'll see what Kinzer can do. He has not made the Nationals A-main since 2016. Been definitely a struggle this year for Craig Kinzer. We'll see what he can do. We know that he can get around the track well. Obviously, you have to get around the track well if you win the Nationals in the past. But that car, they've definitely been really, really struggling this year. I think they got like 2 top 10s with the Outlaws. So Craig Kinzer, the final driver that has been added to the list today. Now, I wanted to look at this over here in the black writing. Drivers that are not entered into the race quite yet, and when will they enter? Who? And some of these guys, we don't know if they will enter or not, but we know that these 2 at the very top will. James McFadden, the 83, not on the list quite yet, as is the 88 car of Tanner Thorson. We know that both of those guys will be there, but they have not been on the entry list as of yet. Now, what's going to happen with Bill Rose? Is Bill Rose going to be back in time to run this race, or will Kelby Watt drive the car? Or will Kelby Watt want to drive his own car and Bill Rose have to find somebody else to drive the car? Those are questions that need to be answered here. We do not know the answer to those questions. I think that Bill Rose will be back in time for the Nationals. When he got injured and they put out that press release, it said it was going to be like 6 to 8 weeks until he would come back, and that kind of timed out closer to the Knoxville Nationals. So I'm going to say Bill Rose is back in the 6, and Kelby Watt will be in his own number 1K car. Zach Hampton, he's been running there all year long in Knoxville. He has not entered the race yet in his 35 car. Justin Henderson has been a little bit of a weird year for him. Has not really ran Knoxville all that much this year, not even in the top 20 in points. But you got to imagine they're going to put something together for him to race in his either number 83 car or somebody else's car. The Sandvig Motorsports number 7 started the year out with J.J. Hickle behind the wheel. They've kind of taken some time off after a huge wreck. Hickle is out of the car. Will they find somebody to drive the car, or will they take the year off from the Nationals? That is a question that needs to be answered as well. The Swindell Speed Lab 39. Have they ran a race all year? I'm not really sure, but they did make this race last year, and you got to imagine that if they could find a guy like a Sanders to get back in the car, or somebody to find a way to get that car to the track, they will certainly have a chance to make the show on Saturday, because we've done it before with at least 2 different drivers in the past. McKenna Hassey in the 55, you got to imagine she's going to be in the show, or going to be in the race as well. The Bernie Stubjan Indy Race Parts 71 car, not entered yet. Who will he find to drive the race car? And then the Rudzik Excavating 49X, usually driven by Tim Schaefer, former Knoxville Nationals champion. They are not entered in the race as well. So those are a couple of question marks I have right now. And as soon as one of those guys enters, we'll be over 100 entries into the Nationals. And here is the Rookie of the Year list right now. Landon Crawley, Jacob Hughes, Casey Jedrzejek, Joel Myers Jr., Devin Borden, Danny Sams, Emerson Axum, Weston Olson, Scotty Johnson, Jace Park, and Xavier Doney. And looking at that list, to me, there's still just that one guy that is above the rest of them, and that is Emerson Axum. Ran 6th at the Kings Royal, ran 3rd with the Outlaws at Beaver Dam. He's almost won a race in Knoxville this year. Emerson Axum, still the guy on this list right here for me. The top 3, I would have to think right now, probably Axum. Then I would say Devin Borden. And then after that, I mean, it's wide open. It could be Crawley, it could be Myers, it could be Sams. I'm not sure. But Axum right now is head and shoulders above the rest of these rookies right now. Unless we can find somebody to get added to the list. I can't think of anybody off the top of my head right now that would be added to the list. But yeah, we'll see who will come out on top in that Rookie of the Year battle. So that is your update as of July 24th for the 2024 Knoxville Nationals. 99 entries as of right now. Next time they update the list, we'll have another video coming out for you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll talk to you again soon.